Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to 3R Guitars, and I think the final video in the building of these 1958 Flying V replicas. I'd like to take you through on this video little details that I think are important to, make the guitar look as accurate as possible, and just run through those little bits, do you a sort of a flyover of the guitars sort of thing, just showing the details. I mean, I absolutely love Gibson Flying V's. I love Firebirds and just the quirkier guitars. But before I do that, I'd like to sort of address from my point of view, the obviously, these can be viewed as fake guitars, which I can't deny that they are. And the trouble you get doing this kind of thing, and I'm hoping, I'm pretty sure by doing these videos, these guitars will be pretty well known and pretty well documented that they are replicas, and that's my one of my intentions of doing the doing the builds on YouTube, so they get pretty well known. The other thing is that I'm not a I'm not a guitar manufacturer, or I mean, I repair the odd guitar. I mean, I'm 64 this year, so I've got no intention. It's just a happy retirement thing for me, and I mean, basically what really floats my boat about a guitar making and repairing and all that is I absolutely love recreating vintage instruments. That's what really floats my boat. The unfortunate thing is that I'm not a particularly good guitarist at all, and you may have seen in the background in my building escapades that there's some weird shaped instruments lying around, and they are actually hurdy-gurdies, which I'm far more into playing now. I can get away with going round town whipping my hurdy-gurdy out, if you pardon the parlance, and impressing people with some pretty easy songs because they've never seen a hurdy-gurdy before, so I get away with murder. I couldn't do that with a guitar. Anyway, going back, my main satisfaction with building guitars is doing historic recreations, and they are also reproductions, fakes if you like, but of much lesser valuable instruments sort of thing, and really not financially viable to do. But as an example, here's a Gibson O I've built. This would have dated back from the late 1800s, early 1900s, and this is a carved arch top and back, and this took me months and months to build, but absolutely loved doing it. And I've updated this one slightly I mean, the original ones were built without a truss rod, so the neck had that very typical old, really chunky feel. So this neck is a bit more of a modern, well, it is a modern profile, a typical acoustic guitar profile with a truss rod, but the overall look is of an very early, or maybe late 1800s, 1900s Gibson O, and this took me months and months to build, but it's what I like doing, and quite a nice I mean, as well, this wouldn't have been a more modern arch tops have F-holes obviously, so anyway, that's one thing I've built. The other thing, which is probably what I'm most, that drove me absolutely round the goddamn bend, was the infamous well, infamous, I don't know, a little known, but you know, Orville Gibson was a mandolin player and originally built mandolins. Now, there was rumours that he'd made a lyre-shaped mandolin because his maker's label actually had his head inside here, sort of thing. And one person back in the 70s decided to make one and you know, scaled it up and things from the maker's label and made one, but it as most of Gibson's instruments at the time were actually carved out of solid and then put together, and that's how he built it. And then lo and behold, when he finished it, someone actually brought one back to Kalamazoo or somewhere like that, or the Gibson factory. So they were actually built. I mean, probably very few, very few, and it's, to my knowledge, there's only 2 genuine ones in existence. And then there was an old photograph of Orville Gibson by his workbench, and they could see these templates hanging behind him, and they thought, well, he must have made some somewhere. So anyway, this is a recreation of one of those. And again, you know, if I wanted to get my money back on this, and with all the time I spent building it, I mean, it's extensively documented again on YouTube, I'd probably need 20 grand for it, you know. I mean, it's ridiculous, but this is built a more modern way with carved back and front with steam bent sides and stuff. But anyway, this is not what those videos are about. I'm just trying to apologise for making reproduction fake instruments sort of thing. But let's get on and get back to the purpose of the video, which is going over the final build of these Flying V's. Hello again. Yeah, okay, getting on to the detail of these Flying V's now. I think it's important, you know, we're getting onto the, you know, when you're putting these guitars together, you're getting onto the bits that you actually see, the detailed bits. Now, you know, obviously we've covered the making the pick guard and the tailpiece, which we had a bit of modifications to do. So when it gets to, I mean, I also made these as well because the Repro ones didn't seem right to me. But little things like that I think make a huge difference are like the screws and you know, just let's start off with the screws. I mean, the Gibson pickup screws, you get a tall one, it's typically like that and has like a tiny head with a dead flat top on it, and then you get a short one. This goes in the back pickup that has the taller pickup ring, and then you've got the shorter ones, which again they're the same. They've got like a little shank on them and a dead flat top. They're absolutely and really small tops. And here's a, you know, a Gibson pickup ring, and these fit in that hole perfectly, really nicely, and they sit just below the surface and everything. I mean, if you go trying to stick in a you know, a Fender screw or a what's it that, you know, you can see that, you know, a cheaper pickup ring and screw, it just won't look right. You'll have massive screw head and things like that. So, you know, these actually fit in the proper pickup rings perfectly and look really nice. The other thing is when it comes to pickup rings, there are, you know, they are all, a lot of them are slightly different. If you go buying generic pickup rings for like a few quid, then They might be good, they might be bad. You know, some are bigger, some have got bigger holes and things like this. These are actually, well, I think these are repro pickup rings for actually, you know, a Les Paul, and these are meant to be built in the right kind of plastic, which is cab plastic. I don't know what it stands for, I can't remember. Something at the time, but I don't. Oh god, I'll have to look on here. Yeah, just in here, you might be able to see there's like M69 stamped in there, and again in the front one there's M69 stamped there, and also there's some numbers MR491 and some jiggery pokery up there that looks like a Chinese writing symbol or whatever. I mean, these are repro ones, and obviously like quite expensive. Now on these Gibson Flying V's, these pickup rings haven't got the M69 stamped in them, but they are cab plastic and moulded to exactly the same spec as these ones here, so they're exactly the right size. And you know, when we followed the template to cut out, you know, the pickup surround on the pick guard, you know, everything fitted perfectly. And these are very, very accurate pickup rings sort of thing. So I'm quite happy with that. I mean, I had these as a reference to check them, but you know, so the proper screws fit in them exactly, and you know, things like that. So that's nice. I know they're accurate, but again, they're not the ultimate, like you know, copy pickup ring sort of thing. The other thing I think to look out for is that when Gibson, typically Gibson pickup in the Flying V, the actual pickup screws are not the typical size. They've got a smaller head and than Fender, or you know, the ones you can commonly buy by the ton sort of thing, which are a lot bigger. I mean, let's have a look here. You know, this is what I'd say you'd find on a typical Fender, something like that. And then you've got where's the Gibson ones that I put down? Typical, I can't find them. And here's the Gibson one. You can see there's just a fraction difference in size I think that's the right one. Anyway, the Gibson ones have got a slightly smaller head diameter, and you know, I think that makes a little difference. The bridges on these as well are Gibson historic, and you know, they've got the Gibson writing underneath, but they're Gibson historic bridges, which is nice. And again, sorry, I've moved on a bit too quickly, but just going back to screws and things, again, a nice thing to get is this is the, you know, a vintage copy Gibson truss rod cover screw. You know, it's got the little shank on it and the rounded top, well, obviously the rounded top, but I just think that's a really nice little touch to have. I'll just screw this back in before I lose it. And it's just nice to have those touches, right, because actually they are the bits you see, you know, they are the bits. I mean, you will have to pay a little bit more money for these screws that seems a bit ridiculous at the time, but it's only a few quid on the build. It's not like I say, these M69 copy pickup rings are, you know, can be, I don't know, over £100 easily, but you buy these ones that are exactly the same from outside, and they were like, I think they were about £20-30. So I think to go M69 just to have the little stamps on the inside is a bit ridiculous, but some people might want to do it, some people not. Now going on to the knobs, these are pretty readily available, but I do clear all the finish off the inside and repaint them myself. So you've got like yellowed numbers. I hope they come out, you know, on the inside. So I paint the white numbers, get all the white out and paint them yellow, everything like that. So they just look old, scratch them up a little bit and make them look good. Electronics, it's obviously all CTS, new stuff, with braided or cloth wire, whatever would have been right to go in there. Switchcraft switch. Interestingly, these little nails, they're available to buy, so I bought those. Brass topped nails, sort of thing. Now the pickups. Let me pick this one up for a change. You're seeing everything on the white guard one. There's the black guard one. Interestingly here, you know, I've bent up the guard a little bit just because the old one's bent. Again, everything on this same as the white one, but black guard. Where was I going? Interestingly, the pickups on this, I don't put expensive pickups in guitars. I mean, I could buy bare knuckle pickups, spend 500 quid and put them in, and then a potential buyer come along and just say, oh, I don't want those pickups in there, sort of thing. I mean, I'm happy to swap pickups over, but what is important on these, they are vintage spaced pickups. They are a PAF, so-called PAF, like clone sort of thing, but not an expensive one. So I bought the pickups, then bought the covers and soldered them on. The covers are gold. I don't know how well that will come out on here, but there's little gold round the pole pieces and things. So you've got, like, you know, you can put what pickups you want in there and resolder these covers on, and everything will look the same. Again, in 1958, Gibson would have used slot-headed pickup height adjustment screws, which I've put on here, and that's, you know, but then again, you've got to keep in mind these guitars were built between, well, they're built in 58 and assembled up to like something like 1963 or something like that, and they would have used whatever pickups and things they had available. So in these, there's some PAF pickups, there's some patent number pickups that are in 58 Vs. But anyway, and the other thing is the tuners. Here you can see those ones are actually quite gold. I've not worn them out as much as the the white guard one. And these are actually quite nice repro tuners. They've got the curved front end. Some Clousons are square, but these are nice and curved, so they look pretty good. I think, I mean, they're single line, which is right for the time. I think genuine vintage tuners are slightly thinner in profile because they don't have the nylon washer to aid operation, but I think so. I mean, I've got some in a box over there, original ones, but like I say, if you wanted to buy a set of originals and put them on there. That would probably be quite a good thing to do, I think. But you'd have to end up spending at least £500 on a set. So, rightio, I think that wraps up the details of them. And now what I'll do is I'll do a flyover of them and hopefully pick up a lot of the detail and stuff, and just finish it off with that. Well, welcome back. Let's just go over these in detail now and wrap this lengthy load of waffle up. I had on one of the parts, I had a YouTube person, a FT Wizard, point out to me that the knobs aren't equi-spaced. Good point, they're not. I'm not sure whether they should be or not. Certainly looking at repros and what it's very difficult to say. And one of the interesting things is when I was building this, there's banded around a prototype flying V with an early one, and it's got like a funny control cavity cut out in it. So Gibson could well have mucked about with the with the knob spacing a little bit. I'm not saying these templates were wrong, and like I say, we had to modify the pickguard anyway, but the saving grace is I could easily elongate this mounting hole for the center thing, and it's only got to go back by about 3 millimeters, so I could easily do that. But thank you for pointing that out anyway. It's always good to have more eyes looking at a project, believe me. So here's the blackguard, which is the less relict one. Just zoom around, and what I might do is clean up some of the, when I do metal parts, basically I treat them with an acid, and they do continue to rust a bit afterwards, and these have just been lying around doing nothing, these guitars. So I could well clean that up if you wanted, but it doesn't bother me. So there we go. Like I say, we've got a slightly warped pick guard. Really nice Brazilian rosewood fretboard there. Getting up to the headstock here. Who's noticed that I've cleaned my shed? Gee whiz, that was a long time overdue, wasn't it? There we go. There's not so much weather checking on this. Bone nut, don't know whether Flying V's had bone nuts or not. Not bone, sorry, the nylon, the whatever it is, nylon nuts, I'm not sure that they had those. I've got a hole there for a strap button. The strap button is actually on the back here. And why is that? Was because when I was building it, I was a bit stupid, and I just thought the strap button was on the back. So I actually drilled a hole there to use to stick the template on, and a lot of these have them there anyway. So I did. Yeah, so a lot of these have the strap button. Sorry, I pressed a button on my phone then. Have a strap button there anyway, so I've just put them on in both places. Strings with the ferrules in the bottom there, and like I say, there's lighter relicing on this. Getting on up here as well. And I've been 100% honest here, there's a serial number on it, and that is a significant date to me. There's the gold. What's it? So that's the blackguard one. One thing about these flying V's as well is when I actually was wondering about building them, I was basically trying to find the wood to do it, and one of the most difficult to find, the wood for the body wasn't too bad, but the actual wood for the neck was really difficult to get, because you know, you need it quite deep this way to do the sloped headstock without any scarfing or anything silly like that, and you also needed it over 2 inches in this width. So I have some chunks left, I think. Well, I do have some chunks to make the neck out of, but it's quite an unusual size. But when I got this wood, I was actually really shocked at how light it was and what a great colour it was. Very light, you know, colour sort of thing. No dark streaks in it. I mean, I don't think the Flying V's had like any dark streaks in them. But just look at this. Right. Okay. It's a Flying V. Here's my little finger. And I can actually lift it on my little finger. There's not many guitars you could do that with. They weigh almost exactly 7 pounds each, and I really don't think I could get the wood to be able to do that again. I did buy some more wood just in case I wanted to make them, because I knew the supplier didn't have a lot of it, so I bought some just in case. And I've got a few chunks under here. Oh, I'm not going to get them out now, but you know, for instance, this is like a piece for a neck. Finally found one, but you can see that it has a bit of darker grain on it, and that is also with the same with the body blanks as well. I'd have to be quite careful how I cut it all out, but you know, it's just not as light as well. So a bit of wetness on this. My shed must be leaking. Oh no, that's not, that's oil, I think. But yeah, so I don't think, I mean, it sounds like a sales pitch, doesn't it? But I don't think I'm going to be able to get such suitable wood for these again. So anyway, yep, there we go. Thank you. Now to the white guard. I don't know which one I prefer. I think this one looks wise with the white guard, but that's just me because I love the Kinks, and this is what Dave did. Dave Davis's was a bit of a and this one's heavier relict, and I always love the slightly more theatrical look. So here we go, exactly the same shite as the other one. This one probably has slightly prettier a fretboard. And here we go, up here, slightly heavier relict. Top end, let's flip it over. Again, slightly heavier relicing on the back. And again, a serial number on it. I'm, you know, on one hand, I'm apologising. I don't know. It does wriggle on my conscience a little bit, but being a Gibson Flying V 1958 clone, I don't think you're going to get many of them up for sale anyway. But there we go then. So let's stand them both up, or put them both down and get a final shot of them, scraping them around on the bench. Yeah. there we go. So if anybody is interested in purchasing either, both of them, just contact me and I'll give the details. And like I say, I love keeping me stuff, but I've just got a bloody house full of it. So there we go. Thanks ever so much for watching the tedious 20 parts of waffle about flying V's. I hope you really enjoy it, and hope you enjoyed it, and thank you very much for watching.